John, a game of few chances, but in the grand scheme of things, is that a good point for us?
Yeah. Look, we're playing a team who are third in the league. About 5 weeks ago, we were all sat in the pub in Billingham, watching them on TV against West Ham, because we've been postponed or we had a game called off. So we knew how good of a side they were. We know what they've done this season. All right, they've had a bad few games recently, but they're a top side. I thought they nullified us really well. Not many sides come here and set up like that. Not with the expectation that they've got probably, being near the top of the league, but I think they nullified us really well. And to be fair, we probably expected that with the run we're on as well. When you look at the bigger picture of potentially losing and gaining ground, we've not lost anything, but I suppose you look at it and maybe there's an opportunity missed, but the other sides will be thinking the same thing. Kiddy will think the same thing on the top 2 or 3. But it's a point gain. It was a positive performance. I know much didn't happen in the 2 boxes, but I think from a technical and tactical point of view, more than anything, I thought it was a really good game with 2 good sides that cancelled each other out. Essentially, I thought there was plenty of desire. I think there was plenty of quality on show. I just think in the final third there weren't enough risk taking from both sides, and that's why we didn't see a shot in anger really. But yeah, we're upbeat with that. We're positive with that. Keeps the run going. It's another clean sheet, 4th clean sheet in 6. So plenty of positives to take.
I think it's clear to see we edged the first half in terms of momentum and flow of the game, but we disappointed that we couldn't really match them levels in the second half. Or was that a case of Kidderminster maybe making a change?
I think so. I think the change helped them. It swayed it a little bit in their favour. Got to remember the boy that started the game, and that was his first game of the season, Cliff Moyle. So obviously it was a big ask for him coming straight in. I think he tired. They made a good change in terms of having pace. Left centre back second half, and he got out a couple of times. But I thought they started really well. Well, I don't think they sat deep and just wanted to counter that. They played on the front foot. They took it to us, and I don't like to do this really because it sounds like you're making reasons for why perhaps you didn't win. But they're a full-time side, and I think we were never going to be stronger than them in the last 10 minutes when the majority of our lads have been working, and they've obviously had a pre-match and stuff like that, travelled up. So again, they're a good side. I thought there was no difference in the 2 sides. You'll have to look back at the beginning of the season, or earlier in the season, with what Kiddy did to Spenny, and what Kiddy did to our Chester side at the beginning of the season as well, to see how far we've come as a group, to even ask the question, are we disappointed with that result against Kidderminster, shows how far we've come essentially. It's another point gain on the playoff teams. And the mini roll continues, and it is mini. We can't keep looking back and saying we're this unbeaten and how many clean sheets. We've now got to start looking forward and start looking at ways how we pick up points to keep putting the pressure on the teams above.
I want to cast your mind back to after the Alfreton game. We'd just been beaten 3-2. I think I had to wait 30 minutes for you to come out the change room. That was the end of January. So if we look back then and compare it to where we are now, we're slightly disappointed that we haven't got 3 points off the place, who were a full-time side. Did you expect this to come? Do you expect once we got a settled side and we got some momentum behind us that we would reach this point?
Yeah, I think you've got to look at the back 5 from that game as well. It was the same back 5 that started today and ended today. That looks like a back 5 that's played together for 5 years now. Not just tonight, the previous games, the previous month. So when you think back to that game where we got beat on 3 set pieces, 3 corners, we've adapted. We've put a lot of wrongs right. We actually played okay in that game. And in terms of result, obviously we were all disappointed, but we played okay that game. We talked about the small details of why we got beat at Dagenham, why we got beat at Gateshead, again another top side, and then how we've moved on from that. And we always felt the margins were very, very small. And I think what you see now with a settled squad, a tighter squad, everyone within the squad understanding the roles and responsibilities within that. There's nobody banging on the door saying why am I not playing, because most players are getting an opportunity now. And as I said, I think after I can't remember what game it was now, whichever interview, either Chester or Chorley, it feels like it's our group. They're buying into what we talk about on the training ground. They're buying into what we talk about in terms of our work ethic. It's a good group of lads. It's a good, we're on a massive, at the beginning of a massive journey as a football team, and there'll be plenty of bumps in the road along the way. There'll be more personnel changes at some point, whether that be in the next few weeks or whether that be long term for next season. But it feels like it's a group that wants success, all want to play together, all want to work for each other, and most importantly, play for the club.
And just a quick one on Saturday, we've got to Telford, who've got a point at file tonight. We know we've got no divine right to go anywhere and pick up 3 points, but I'm not sure you're aware that we've never beat Telford. I'm not sure you're aware of that stat, but it's a hoodoo that's got to end at some point.
Yeah, but I pay no notice to nonsense like that because some of these lads weren't here. I know some of them would have been. our biggest fear is complacency, you know, in any game of football, because then you've got Fylde and Brackley where players naturally raise the game, and if anyone thinks that you're going to go to Telford, who picked up massively over the last 6 weeks since cards have gone in terms of results and performances and the signings they're making some really impressive signings. Reece McNally's gone in there today. They signed Devine Green last week. They've got a dangerous forward in Jason Oswell. We'll get punished. It's as simple as that. That's how this league is. We were lucky to win on against Farsley, who were bottom of the league. So complacency will absolutely destroy us. So we go there and plan and prep exactly as we have done for this game and as we will for Fylde and Brackley. Nothing changes for us. You know, all right, we've 6 unbeaten, but what does the next 6 look like? We've got to go and back it up. We're close. We're in a good position, but it doesn't matter if we don't put it back to back again.